What's going on, everybody? Good morning, Thursday morning. I'm going to give it a few minutes here and see if we can get some people in here live. So I'm going to hold here with you temporarily and see if we can get some people in here live. So bear with me. I'm here with you. I'm just gonna see if we can get the count to go up and give people a minute or so, 2 minutes maybe, to get in here with us. Hope everyone's having a good day. And if the people watching are in Cleveland, I know you guys might not be doing so good. We'll give it another we'll give it another minute here. See if we can get some more people in the live. A lot more will watch it on recording. We're not big enough to get a huge live crowd yet, but we're working on it. About 40 seconds. There's another one that joined us. I'm just giving it a moment here to get some more people in, and then we'll get started. About 25 seconds. I'm going to give a totally different perspective today than I normally do. Most of the time, it's always about Shadur and Dylan. It's not really going to be about that today. I'm going to give a different angle and from experience that I have as a lifelong Lions fan. All right, we got a few more here. All right, so let's get started. I see the numbers going up great. Thanks, everybody, for joining me. It's Wednesday morning. Again, experimenting a lot with different live shows at different times throughout the week other than our regular show, and seeing if we can increase the live audience. Before I get started on the Browns topic, which I have a completely different perspective to share this week than I have in the past. It's always been there, but I just I wanted to freshen it up a bit and just really tell you from a Lions experience as a lifelong fan. Before I do, let me just share this here. A new time for our show this week. It's a special time, 7 p.m. tomorrow night, instead of our standard Saturday morning at 10 a.m. spot. Obviously, as a Lions fan, Luke and I will be doing a Lions and Chiefs preview. Last week, you see bottom left-hand corner there against the spread. I was 9-4. He was 7-6. We'll go at it again. We'll go over the college football weekend game prep picks, our Power 5, our NFL Power 5. We're all stuck with LeBron James for 2 more years, and we'll explain what we mean there and what I mean there. And then a couple of spots there reserved for the breaking news. And then to the right there, it's the Week 6 slate. And, of course, follow us here on X at PB Sports Talks with an S, and on YouTube at PB Sports Talk. All right. So today I want to talk about what I would consider to be the Browns Bermuda Triangle. And you see the 3 key participants there. There's a lot, but those are the 3 key. Jimmy Haslam with the nice Walter face if you're a Jeff Dunham fan. Kevin Stefanski, bottom left. Andrew Berry, bottom right. So as an entrepreneur for 35 years and managing a lot of people, like I understand how to start an organization, how to build an organization, how to maintain an organization. Never anything on that scale or this scale, obviously, but it's relative whether it's a 10-person employee. The most I ever had was 23 employees. Whether it's 23 employees or whether it's 100 employees, the same thing goes across the spectrum for any size company. And the Browns are obviously a big company, one of 32 franchises in the most popular league in America. And as a former Lions fan for 50, 60 years until we got this right with Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell and a new managing partner, managing owner in day-to-day operations, we lived it. And Detroit are phenomenal fans, some of the greatest in the world. And I think you guys in Cleveland are some of the greatest fans in the world too. I mean, I go back way back from the Brian Sipe days, Bernie Kosar days, Ernest Biner, Kevin Mack, all those days, right? So you guys been living it, and it's been a tough road. And this is such a unique situation going on in Cleveland, because there's actually a part of things that have been done really right, particularly this year. And then there's that other side that is really, really wrong. And the wrong can eliminate the right, or the bad can eliminate the good. And it's like they haven't figured it out quite yet. And it has to do with this triangle. And though I'm not, what's her name? Marianne Cabot. I'm not in the room. I don't interview these guys, but you don't need to be in the room, and you don't need to be a rocket scientist to figure out what in the hell is going on and what in the hell is going wrong. There has to be dysfunction between those three. They're not on the same page. They're not even in the same book. I'm not sure they're in the same city, the same zip code, the same city, maybe even not the same state. It's a breakdown in plan. It's a breakdown in communication, and it's a breakdown certainly in execution. And it's sad to watch. And so someone asked me a couple of days ago, they said, why do you cover Cleveland so much if you're from Detroit lifelong? That's a good question. When in Detroit, when things were really bad, everybody had something to say. When things got better, when we just started to get better, it was still crazy. Everybody talking. Now there's an expectation, and we comment actually a little bit less. You're going to see here, I'm going to really pump that up. Tomorrow night's going to be a lot of Lions. If you guys are Lions fans and you want to hear our perspective as Lions fans, join us tomorrow. We'll show you what we mean. But more people tend to talk more about negative stuff than they do about positive. People like to see train wrecks versus, positive motivation stuff, right? It's just something to grind on. And you guys are living it there. You're grinding on this day to day. Is it this? Is it that? Make up your freaking mind. So let's just go back to, and again, I'm not here to talk about, I almost said Deion Sanders, Shedeur Sanders. Everybody knows where I stand on that. And if you don't, you can find it. The only person in the world on January 19th who predicted him as a 5th-round pick, recently on Jason Whitlock's show to discuss it all. I'm not going there. Let's just go back, though, to that time frame around the draft. So why would you draft a 3rd-round quarterback and a 5th-round quarterback? See, where I'm going to go with this is Cleveland brought this all on themselves. They brought all this attention. They brought all this hype. They brought all this commotion, all this dysfunction, threw a wrench into that triangle. And I think that there is factions. There's multiple sides as to whether or not they wanted Shedeur Sanders. And even if you did want Shedeur Sanders, then you should have took him at 3rd, and you should have left Dillon Gabriel out of it. If you wanted Dillon Gabriel and you didn't want Shedeur Sanders, then you should have left Shedeur Sanders out. You cannot draft both those guys, especially with one of the two being as polarizing as he is and was, and everybody knew, and expect it to go smooth. You can't. You're sending a mixed message to your fans, to your team, to your entire organization and city. Like, why would you make it harder on yourself? It's hard to run a franchise or a business of any size, of any scope, let alone one of only 32 in the country. You basically stack the deck against yourself, and you have no room for error in Cleveland, right? You're on a clock every year to figure things out and make yourself better. And you continue to get in your way. It's like, that rug in the house that you keep tripping on, and it's just got that one area that just keeps on flipping up, and it's like, you got to get rid of it. If it won't go down and it just won't lay flat, you're going to keep tripping every day until you remove it. I mean, it sounds like that's hooked on phonics, but that's basically what it is. Jimmy Haslam is behind all this, folks. He is the man in the room. He is the elephant in the room that can't figure this out. I'm telling you guys. You could say what you want about Stefanski. You could say what you want about Barry. They are talented enough to do some things. And as an owner, as a leader, as the final ultimate decision maker, everything starts and ends with you, whether him or her, in a day-to-day operation. That's where it starts. And it is the edict, and it is the plan, and it is the entire set of goals, of activity, of executional plan that comes down, and then you get people that believe in that message. I don't believe these three guys believe in the same message. I tend to believe Stefanski and Barry are on the same page, and Haslam continues to separate that. You're seeing messaging change almost on a daily basis. And I'm not going to the other side here and going to start sticking up for Shedeur Sanders, because I still feel the way that I felt. I've always felt that way. But if you are a rebuilding franchise and you want people to take you seriously, you're an NFL franchise, you're not a college university, and you say at the beginning of the year, after you have Flacco, you have Pickett, you have Watson lingering, and you take two rookies, 3rd round, 5th round, why would you say that we're going to get both of them on the field this year? I don't understand that. This is not the NFL games, the actual in-season games, it's not a tryout. That's what the preseason's for. That's what the mini camps are for. That's what the training camp's for. And then you make a freaking decision and you go with that decision. And if at some point during the season you change your mind, then you go with another guy and you stick with that guy. But the mixed messaging you're sending to your team, to your fan base, no one knows what the frig is going on. And the reason they don't know what the frig is going on is because these three guys in the room can't get on the same page. This one's going to start. That one's going to start. What did you start Joe Flacco for? Everybody and their brother knew he wasn't the answer. This whole, you guys here, if you follow me, you know I don't believe in the 3-week, 6-week thing. Jackson Dart, Dylan Gabriel, Joe Flacco, if it's going to be Sanders, it's nonsense. If you believe you have the right guy and you believe that person can take it on early, then you put him in early. If you're drafting somebody in the 6th round that is a 7th round, maybe it's a Will Howard or Quinn Ewers, how he got drafted, or it's even a Milroe, in Seattle drafted in the 4th round, and you're going to let him learn behind, Sam Darnold. Okay, that makes sense. Sam Darnold, you brought him in for a lot of money, and you're trying to make him a starter for multiple years and develop Milroe. You weren't bringing in Joe Flacco for multiple years. It's so backwards. And my answer to those people that said, why do you talk so much about Cleveland? Because we lived it. I've been around this dysfunction as a very deeply vested fan of the Detroit Lions that did this shit over and over with all these different coaches. Like, who takes the wind in overtime? Marty Morningwig? Like, there was nothing at the top that made sense to the bottom. And we had talent and guys, obviously, like Barry Sanders and Lomas Brown and Kevin Glover and Herman Moore and Brett Perryman. I mean, we had guys. And sadly, Eric Anders, like I'm going back here, was killed in a car accident. Mike Utley was paralyzed. I'm going way back here. But then Wayne Fonts and all the mixed messaging. And it's like I'm watching this deja vu happen in Cleveland. You've seen it in Jacksonville. And Jacksonville appears to finally have gotten things figured out. Jimmy Haslam needs to step out of the way and let these guys go. And if you're Jimmy Haslam and you don't believe in these guys, then make a change. Make the change right now. So, I get into it with my guy, John Frischella. He's at NFL Frischella, really knowledgeable guy. Does a lot of film breakdown. Was with Bleacher Report for many years and a number of other different outlets. And John said to me the other day, based on Ian Rappaport, I think it was, that said, Sanders is going to get in at some point this year. I don't believe that. The only way that Shedeur Sanders gets into a game is if there's some sort of catastrophic injury or it's mop-up duty. That would suggest that you have no belief in Dylan Gabriel. So you drafted Dylan Gabriel in the 3rd round. So you would throw him away? Because if you put this, again, this is not college. This is not, we're going to put a package in for Shedeur Sanders. You are basically taking a great drink or a really good drink or a food, and you're throwing Tabasco sauce on it, let's say. It's not going to taste very good, right? Unless you love Tabasco sauce, right? It's going to piss a lot of people off. It's going to burn your freaking mouth. You cannot put Dylan Gabriel in for part of the plays or part of the games. Hey, Dylan, this is your game. It's not a line change in hockey. Hey, Dylan, this is your game. Hey, Shedeur, this is your game. Hey, Deshaun Watson, this is your game. It's not a pitching staff where we're going to put our starter or it's a bullpen game. And you're going to get 2 innings, and you're going to get 2 innings, you're going to get 2 innings, 4 innings, and then you're going to get your closer to come in. That's not how this works. But this is the messaging that they're sending out, and people are believing it, and it's creating more commotion. So you got the Ian Rappaports and you got the Schefters, you got these people that are getting messaging. And from what I understand from some people in Cleveland, this Marianne or Mary Jane Cabot or whoever, and Tony Grossi and these people, they're like all attached into, deeply attached. And what they say is directly coming from, the most higher ups in the management team. And it's like, what? It's different. It's different every day. So the word comes out that Sanders is going to be 2 on Tuesday. And then yesterday, Stefanski comes out and slams on the brakes. So where did that leak come from? Are they at this point, and again, I'm not going here to defend, are they actually getting him to ask for his release? Is that what's happening here? Because on no other basis, no other level does it make sense. Someone is leaking out information that he's going to go to 2, and Stefanski comes out in a press conference and says, you know what? I want to see the week develop. What's going to change in 2 days? The only thing that can change in 2 days, which a lot of people aren't talking about this, and I don't think they're talking about this enough, is Deshaun Watson going to be medically cleared? Because if he's medically cleared, he's not going to the 3. He's just not. You would never do that to a guy that you have all that money invested into. I don't believe the decision on 2 or 3 for Shedeur Sanders has anything to do with Shedeur Sanders. If you believed he was your 2, then he's your 2, and you would come out and say it. Or your owner's saying one thing, and your manager, general manager Barry, is saying one thing, and Stefanski's saying one thing. And there might just be this internal struggle and internal tug of war that says, I'm just going to object to whatever you're saying. Maybe it's insubordination. I don't know, but none of it makes sense. You have a fan base and obligation. I heard Gabriel came out and said, we were in the room and none of us can understand the NFL. Something to that effect. I'm paraphrasing. And yes, the NFL is a business and things can change daily. But why are you doing this to Dylan Gabriel? Why are you doing this to Shedeur Sanders? Why are you letting it linger with Deshaun Watson? If Deshaun Watson is your guy, or you want him to be your guy, then come out and say it. Hey, we're prepping the scene for Deshaun to get medically cleared, and we're going to give him a shot when he's medically cleared, and then we will evaluate our progress and make decisions accordingly from there, if that's your belief. If your belief is Dylan Gabriel, hey, Dylan's our guy, and we're staying with Dylan. If something unforeseen happens, we will cross that bridge when we get to it. We'll make a decision accordingly. If you don't want Shedeur Sanders on your team, then cut him or trade him. Or say, you know what? We brought in Shedeur to develop him, and we feel like we're making progress to that end. And that's a long-term strategy or a long-term plan. And stop the mixed messaging and the madness every single day. Like, as a NFL franchise, and these owners are multi-billionaires, this is not about money or attention. Jimmy Haslam doesn't need either. He's got attention for all the wrong reasons. And the most crazy thing to me here is you actually had appears to be a very successful draft, both offensively and defensively, for probably the first time in I don't know how many years. Why would you F with that? Why would you do everything over here to mess up everything over here? It makes no sense. You're actually being competitive. Now, you can argue Stefanski's the wrong guy. I'm not here to even debate that. I got my feelings on that, but I'm not going to debate that. You can say Andrew Berry is this or Andrew Berry is that. Bottom line is they put together a nice draft, and it's very Lion-esque. And what Dan Campbell did is when you start putting together, hitting on guys, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys in your draft, you're really doing something right. Generally, you hope to do that after you have established your quarterback position, because it all starts and ends with the quarterback. After leadership, proper leadership and coaching, it's quarterback. Cement that first and then everything else. Well, it's happened kind of in the reverse in terms of what we're hearing. Somebody in that building does not believe 100% in Dylan Gabriel. Somebody in that building does not believe, or maybe more than one, does not believe 100% in Shedeur Sanders. So come out and make a statement, clear the air, and cut or keep accordingly. My own personal opinion, and I said this yesterday and the day before, it is to me as clear as day. Despite the dysfunction and the tug of war that's happening, I think it's obvious to everybody's eye. It is Dylan Gabriel is one, provided Deshaun Watson is cleared. It's Deshaun 2, and it's Bailey Zappi 3. And Shedeur Sanders does not fit in this equation. If Andrew Berry and Kevin Stefanski believed in Shedeur Sanders, he would have been playing. They don't believe in it. And I don't think they ever wanted him. This is not new news. It's been around forever. The golf clap in the suite with Jimmy Haslam sitting there. You saw the response on all their faces. To suggest anything else, if you felt it was a steal at 5 and somebody felt to you that you really wanted, as Jimmy Haslam kind of put out there, I mean, we just couldn't let it pass up, then any franchise, an organization in their mind that gets somebody to, quote, slip or slide to them, you're ecstatic. You're overjoyed. How did this happen? This guy was talked about in the first round or even first overall, and we got him in the fifth. No, that's not what happened. It's not. And I was on Jason Whitlock's show. I incorrectly said Mark Trestman. Again, apologies to Mark Trestman, but I think Bill Musgrave had some things to do with this in terms of his friendship with Dion. And I just think that you hear, Baltimore thought about it, and Seattle thought, or somebody else thought about it. I hear those things. This guy was going to drop out of the draft completely, or there was a great chance, or the embarrassment to the Sanders family would have happened further. 6th round, 7th round. I mean, 5th round sounds bad, but it doesn't sound as bad as 6th or 7th. They're being completely out of the league. And I think that's what was happening. And Jimmy Haslam, that's not a Stefanski decision. That's not a Berry decision. And then what kind of owner comes out and has to even think to say, that's Andrew Berry's decision? What kind of owner says that? You're opening up a can for everybody to go talk about and gossip about and bring unnecessary media attention to your team that should right now be having attention to it because of a very solid draft, a competitive team, and it looks like there's progress there. And in my opinion, you have the right guy in Dylan Gabriel. There should be celebration going on, momentum. You should be motivated to go to work and then now build on this. Instead, we're going into what, week 6? And as recent as yesterday, or even this morning, Shedeur is trending, Stefanski's trending, and it's like you're trending for all the wrong reason, idiots. Figure it the frig out and tell the people, tell your team first. That's what matters first and foremost. But the media is flaming this. That's why I have the flame on the graphic. It's fanning the flame. It's making it worse. If you're an employee for the company and there's this type of stuff going on every day, how do you function at your ultimate peak, optimal level? You cannot, because you're worried about what's going to happen next. Who's going to get fired? Who's in this role? Who's in that role? Am I getting switched to departments? That's what this is. Is Dylan Gabriel getting switched to departments, let's call it? Am I going from 1st to 2nd? Is Deshaun Watson coming in 1st or 2nd? Is Shedeur 1st or 2nd? Is Zappi 3 or 2? Is he practice squad? It's like this is the highest level of dysfunction, and I'm so passionate about this, and it's affected me so much from afar because this is how it was with the Lions. It wasn't really this way with quarterbacks, but it was this way with philosophy. It was this way with consistency. It was this way with communication, and it was the philosophy at the top was draft all these guys like Carlos Rogers and Mike Williams and Roy Williams and Ebron and Hawkinson and Pettigrew and all of those guys. Flash, offense. It wasn't being built out from the trenches. And so we got so fed up, and the coaching switches basically every 2 to 3 years. So it's like we lived it. And to watch this go on, and this is kind of like a simple, well, it's not simple. because it really boils down to Haslam. We had it with William Clay Ford forever and ever. And then Russ Thomas under him and Chuck Schmidt under him. And if you guys know anything about that, it was an absolute epic disaster. And almost despite that, we had a couple of runs like the run and shoot and Barry Sanders, and you have moments inside there, but that's not sustainable. Now what we have is sustainable. People say window, it's a window of up. No, when you're a properly run organization, it's not a window. There's eras, literally. There's no window that's closing on the Lions. They are competitive and are a Super Bowl competitor right now. They're on everybody's top Power 5, basically. And that's not going to change. I promise you that's not going to change. When these guys get older and you can't keep them, when you know how to draft and develop, it's just the next man up. And when you have a guy who's very clear in Brad Holmes and a guy who's very clear in Dan Campbell, and the people above them are very clear in terms of what they want, then you just execute that and press those buttons accordingly to make sure you're on the map for decades, not weeks, not months, and not a year or two window. As Jared Goff's only basically 30, 31, he's got another solid 5-6 years to go, barring injury. But let's just say he was 34. Let's say he was like a Geno Smith type age, and I'm not comparing them because there is no comparison. You will already started prepping and developing your guy to be the heir apparent to that. If you have somebody you feel like you can't sign that's a wide receiver, well then, and they did it. This is not the reason they did it, but you draft an Isaiah Tesla because you think maybe it was St. Brown end of his career or Jameson Williams the end of his career, which it's not. I'm just using it as an example. So the Browns are trying to build out their levels, right? First level, second level, third level with depth. Really hard to do, and it takes time. Man, did they take a big first step to that. I mean, it's no joke when you're talking Njoku on one side and Harold Fannin. I talk about this a lot. Harold Fannin is one of the players that I watched most play in college last year. I actually had a lot of bets on his team or the teams that he was playing. So I happened to see him a lot. He's a solid, versatile player. What you've done on defense with Mason Graham, Michigan guy, right? And what you already had in Garrett and Schweisinger, it's like you got Denzel Ward, you got things going on, man. And these guys keep effing it up. So you guys are kind of stuck because it's not Barry. Stefanski's he's made mistakes. There's no question about it. Barry's made mistakes in years past. Jimmy Haslam didn't draft those guys in terms of this year. That's Stefanski and Barry and the scouting staff that did a really good job with that. And they need to get some credit for that. Stefanski needs to clean his shit up. I got it. But I think the problem is less with those two guys and ultimately is with Haslam. It's Haslam's decision to draft Shedeur Sanders. It's Haslam's decision to keep him in the mix of conversation. I promise you guys, that's what's going on here. And because of that, this is lingering. All rookie camp, mini camp, training camp, preseason, week 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're in 6 now. Like, are you freaking serious? It's ridiculous. So that's my perspective on this. And people are not talking about it. And I don't understand why. It's just, are we going to just pick on it's always the head coach and it's always the general manager or it's a certain player. Guys, it's not. Yes, there is some blame to go around with Stefanski, what he did last week. He's done some questionable things. You can find all kinds of coaches that you have some questionable things. But if you think that this guy is that bad and you're not paying attention to the guy at the top of that triangle, that's where it's coming from. And I think they're fighting him. And you're seeing that play out in real time. So guys, if I'm in Cleveland, I start getting vocal like we did with William Clay Ford and Detroit and Russ Thomas and Chuck Schmidt for many, many years. And then Matt Millen and Bob Quinn. It was just over and over and over, right? Some of those are general managers, but ultimately it was William Clay Ford that was making those final decisions. This is Jimmy Haslam that made a decision on Shedeur Sanders. Don't let him fool you. That's why he was underneath the tent and he said, it was this guy's pick. He basically threw his coach under the bus. If I'm Kevin Stefanski, yeah, I love my guys. I love my team, but I don't want to play for that guy. Or excuse me, coach for that guy. And if I'm Andrew Berry, there's only one of 32, right? So you're kind of stuck. That's what you want to do for a living? There's only 32 head coaches and 32 general managers. I suppose a couple have a kind of a co-general manager, but there's really only, 64 of those positions, 32 of one and 32 of another. So you don't want to throw it away, but you don't want to sit there and deal with this guy either. So Cleveland fans, you guys can be loud. I've heard you. Speak up about Jimmy Haslam. Put the pressure, statewide on Jimmy Haslam and let up some of the pressure on Berry and Stefanski. Jimmy Haslam did not put that draft together other than Shedeur. Those guys did. This is the best young talent that Cleveland has had for years. You can say Baker Mayfield. You can say some of those things, yes. But we're talking 5 and 6 guys. And then you're seeing some free agent acquisitions that were very smart. This Isaiah Bond, you could say what you want about his offseason struggles and challenges, and you can say what you want about Jerry Jeudy, and Jerry Judy's not a number 1. I think we all would agree with that. He's more of a number 2 or number 3, but it's actually an upgrade from, say, like an Amari Cooper at that stage in Amari Cooper's life or career. So you guys are on the right track, I believe, with Stefanski and Berry, and it's Haslam in the way. That is the Bermuda Triangle. These guys, Stefanski and Berry, are trying to level out the waves. They're trying to just make the water smooth. And it's freaking Haslam that's putting 20-foot waves around them. And I think he's handcuffing them. They don't know how to act. They don't know what to say. They don't know what to do. And anything that they do, they're probably hearing about it. Stop the madness. Make a decision. Announce the decision to your team first, obviously. Then make an announcement to the public. Stop this and salvage, if you want to call it that. You have what? 11 more games? 12 more games? That's a lot. You can do some damage with the roster you have. Knock it off. Like, seriously, knock it the frig off. Cleveland, I feel for you. You guys hang in there. But if I was you guys, I'd be all over social media. I'd be rallying. I'd be putting together special announcements of fan groups and put the pressure on the guy with the gray hair there and less on the guys below him, because I don't think it's them. So good luck with that, Cleveland. Again, tomorrow night is a new time. 7 p.m. Luke and I will go live. Normally we're 10 a.m. on Saturday mornings. We had a scheduling conflict. Plus we want to test out, a nightly live and a different day of the week live, Friday versus Saturday. It's a jam-packed show, and I'm sure there'll be some breaking news out of Cleveland today, because there is every day. It's not listed on there, but we'll certainly throw it in if there is. Please, if you haven't yet, follow us on X. You're seeing this live. There's quite a few people on here. You're seeing this live on X at PB Sports Talks. And guys, we're at 821 subscribers on YouTube. 1,000 is a big number for us. There's 440 or so videos ranging the whole spectrum in the sports world. A lot of the different sports, football, basketball, even WNBA, lots of stuff up there. My life story, when I was in a coma, my life documentaries up there. If you're taking interest and you like what you've been hearing, please support us there. That's really important to the growth of our show. Everyone have a great Thursday. Please join us tomorrow night, 7 o'clock live, and we'll have a lot more. Everybody have a great day. Enjoy your Thursday. Bye-bye.